All over the world, we are trying to explain how it happened that all governments coordinated an experiment and implemented procedures from the WHO and pharmaceutical companies.
This vaccine campaign, it will go down as the biggest scandal in medical history, and moreover, it will be known as the biggest crime ever committed.
Military corporations to carry out a global vaccination of the population and shut down all economies. These issues occur worldwide now, with activist groups collecting evidence and filing cases as an illustration. We can now see in Japan or in the UK that people are seeking the truth. In Poland, this also happens, but few people talk about it because there is only one activist, or rather activist, who presents information from Poland globally. And what happens in Poland can also have a big impact on the global outcome. Currently, however, we find ourselves in a situation where the system has decided to use all of its resources to sweep away the evidence that was being collected in their case.
And that was the coup during the COVID lockdown. We had a change of regime unauthorized. As uniformed services, we have been called to defend our country and its citizens, so we are alerting and warning that the introduction of this type of law will destabilize the internal security of Poland. Just as the association, we defend the uniform for future generations. We submitted notifications to the prosecutor's office specifically from various very serious paragraphs, supporting them with the entire evidence material, as it has happened in every other country where such a law has already been implemented. This will lead to mass protests, street riots, destruction of public and private property, which in the end can even lead to a civil war. And that's exactly what the association reported. So after 6 months, instead of the ABW going to Prime Minister Niedzielski, Health Minister Niedzielski, Commander Szymczyk, they came to us.
As an organization, we applied for the possibility of committing a terrorist act on Polish society. Many uniformed personnel, like fire brigade, police, border guards, firefighters, ended up in civilian life or were pressured due to vaccine refusal.
So we will showcase to the entire nation, as well as anyone who is interested, precisely how the most elite units in this country operate and execute their missions with utmost skill and precision. And it is an embarrassment on a global scale.
The prosecutor's office just secured all these disks, the lawyers' computers and disks, and
searches have been carried out in more than 40 residences, with the most severe possible allegations. Even though no charges were formally filed against anyone, only searches were conducted in relation to the case. Serious crimes like a coup attempt and attempts to detach a part of Poland. There were also plotting for the independence of Poland, collaboration with foreign intelligence, and a number of other slightly lighter offenses, but also incitement to murder, some incitement to disobey orders. Yeah, some of these individuals here are also individuals who had those raids, invasions. We stick together. Just look at their faces. These are the people who threatened the Republic of Poland. Independence, and in my opinion, these are the people who are actually building this independence. Of course, it is obvious that it was a political message, probably as a result of the fact that as the association we defend the uniform for future generations. We submitted notifications to the prosecutor's office specifically from various very serious paragraphs, supporting them with the entire evidence material. The judgments of the Supreme Court judges have declared that all COVID lockdowns and restrictions were unconstitutional attempts to limit freedom. In response, we filed a case under Article 115, which is considered equivalent to a terrorist attack. These judgments underscore the importance of safeguarding individual liberties and emphasize the need to strike a balance between public health measures and fundamental rights in times of crisis. Where exactly is this attack defined, indicating that it was an act of intimidation targeting a whole group of people? Or does point 3 of this article explicitly state that it is written, emphasizing that it is also a significant change within the system, as mentioned in the aforementioned article? And that was the coup during the COVID lockdown. We had a change of regime unauthorized. by the Constitution, as it provides for states where human freedom can be limited and how they are introduced, but none of these states are enforced. There were Minister of Health regulations lacking legal force, as they are low in the hierarchy of legal acts with no absolute legal validity. And that's exactly what the association reported. So after 6 months, instead of the ABW going to Prime Minister Niedzielski, Health Minister Niedzielski, Commander Szymczyk, they came to us. And the second thing is that the ruling party definitely doesn't like the fact that there is a very well-organized group of people who are thinking and trying to achieve the independence that we are being accused of here. To take away the country's independence is to construct it in its own manner by establishing connections, forging different kinds of agreements among one another, generating various types of initiatives, concepts, workshops, and acquiring knowledge. So if you were planning a coup, you would form a legal association which gathers members, creates media buzz, etc. Would you do it covertly? They have now conducted searches where the most serious possible charges have been brought as the reason for conducting these searches. I'm not saying someone was set up, just as a reason for these searches. So we know each other very well among us, because we know each other, because we have these relationships, and thanks to that, it's like we couldn't be divided. We know that no one is planning any coups here, so now they have to leave a great legend, leave some story, weave a big lie, and still prove it to us. When we are always transparent, always talking about it, we will always show it, report on this process.
We, as an organization, have applied for the potential to commit a terrorist act on Polish society. Why don't the authorities care about this? Actually, those services that came to our homes should be the ones to handle this notification and reach out to the most important people in the country. The details we shared with the PM, the health minister, and others in positions of authority, and so on. It is completely beyond comprehension how a person in uniform is treated like this in any way. And now they are throwing all of us into one bag with some criminals, Russian thugs, terrorists, and so on and so forth. Well, then the secrecy only indicates that I personally have great concerns about what else we can expect here. Most important, many soldiers, if possible, how many people I've shown on my channel, how many families were hurt, psychological problems, children with problems due to parents losing jobs. We can't talk about it, I can't understand it. I don't know how this will go on. All documentation taken, electronic and paper, kept with unit commanders, Minister of National Defense, and President. All of it was taken. Possibility of committing a terrorist act on Polish society. Which just this application, everyone treats literally like a live fire. They're afraid to touch it. We're waiting all the time. Piloting this matter, we'll see. These services shouldn't be with us. They should go to the people we indicated as an association. Maybe that's it.
So I ask you to spread this further, so that news from Poland can reach the world and to provide moral support to those who are fighting for this truth in Poland.